The evening air felt thick as I stepped into the house, weary from a grueling day at work. Any hope for a peaceful night vanished, replaced by an oppressive silence. As I passed the small office, I froze, my heart pounding. There, at my desk, was Ethan. His face was tense, and scattered across the table were my personal documents, bank statements, savings records, even a journal where I'd lovingly mapped out our baby's future. "What are you doing?" I demanded, stepping inside. My voice shook with anger and disbelief. Ethan looked up, his expression chillingly unapologetic. "Just making sure everything's in order," he replied with infuriating calm. "With the baby on the way, we need to be prepared." My hands clenched at my sides. "You went through my things without asking." My voice rose, edged with rage. "You had no right." His calm facade cracked, and he stood up, his eyes narrowing. "Jessica, our finances are shared," he said coldly. "I have a right to know what's going on, especially when you're acting like money grows on trees." Confusion quickly turned to dread. "What are you talking about?" I demanded, my voice rising. "I've been saving every penny for our baby's future. What could possibly justify this invasion of privacy?" Ethan took a step closer, his gaze icy. "I'm $100,000 in debt, Jessica. Gambling debt. I need that $50,000 you've been hiding away. We have to fix this before it destroys us." The room spun around me as his words sank in. The savings I carefully set aside to secure our baby's future were now the target of his reckless choices. "You're not using that money," I managed to say, my voice trembling. "That's for our child." Ethan's face twisted with anger. "You're being selfish," he shouted, his voice echoing through the room. "This is about survival." Before I could react, his hand shot out, striking me hard across the face. The force of the blow sent me stumbling back, my cheek stinging with sharp, fiery pain. Shock and fear gripped me as he grabbed my shoulders, shoving me against the wall. Pain shot down my spine, and my heart raced. "You think you can defy me?" he hissed, his grip tightening. "I've sacrificed for this family, and you act like some spoiled little girl." Tears blurred my vision, but I held my ground, my voice barely a whisper. "You can't do this to me," I said, desperation breaking through. Mustering every ounce of strength, I pushed him away and staggered out of the room. I bolted outside, the cool evening air hitting my tear-streaked face as I stumbled into my car. Locking the doors, I sat there, gasping for breath. My body shook, but the instinct to protect my baby burned fiercer than my fear. I had to get away. The next morning, I met my best friend Olivia at our usual coffee shop, the bruise on my cheek glaringly fresh. Her eyes widened with horror when she saw me, and she pulled me into a gentle hug. "Jessica, what happened?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Taking a shaky breath, I told her everything: Ethan's secret gambling debt, his plan to steal my $50,000 savings, and how he had crossed a line I could never forgive. When I finished speaking, Olivia's face grew hard with anger. "You have to leave," she said, her voice steady and firm. "You and your baby deserve to be safe. You can't stay with him." Her words pierced through my fog of fear, and I nodded, tears welling up. "I know," I whispered, "but I don't know where to go." Reaching across the table, Olivia squeezed my hand. "We'll figure it out," she promised. "But first, you need legal protection. We have to get you a lawyer." A few days later, Olivia drove me to meet Alex, a respected family attorney. His office was warm and inviting, sunlight streaming through large windows. I needed that feeling of safety more than ever. Alex greeted me with a kind smile, but as I shared my story, his expression turned serious. I described the emotional abuse, Ethan's gambling debt, and the physical violence. My voice trembled, but I forced myself to stay strong for my baby. "You're incredibly brave," Alex said gently, "but you need to be prepared. If you fight for your rights, Ethan might retaliate. We'll need solid evidence of everything." Olivia leaned forward. "Jessica's been saving texts, photos, and journal entries for months. We can get whatever you need." Alex nodded, his expression resolute. "Good. We'll start by securing a protective order and making sure Ethan can't touch that $50,000. We'll also need proof of his gambling debts and financial recklessness." Hope sparked in my chest. With Olivia and Alex by my side, I felt a flicker of strength. The days blurred into nights as Olivia and I worked late, gathering every piece of evidence we could find. We documented text messages where Ethan belittled and manipulated me, photographed the bruise on my cheek, and found records of his gambling debts. Each piece felt like a weapon in my fight to protect my baby. One evening, I sat at my parents' house, my hands trembling as I finally shared everything with them. They'd suspected something was wrong but hadn't known the full extent. My father's jaw clenched in anger, but he took my hand gently. "You're stronger than you think, Jessica," he said, his voice steady. "We're here for you." Their support filled me with renewed courage. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for my baby's future. The day of the court hearing arrived, and the courthouse felt cold and intimidating. I walked in with Olivia and Alex at my side. Ethan was already there, sitting with his lawyer, his expression hard. His mother sat beside him, her glare full of disdain. The judge called us forward, and Alex presented our case with calm precision, detailing Ethan's emotional abuse, his hidden gambling debt of $100,000, and the physical violence I had endured. He emphasized that my $50,000 was for our baby's future, not to cover Ethan's reckless decisions. When it was my turn, I took the stand. My hands trembled, but I kept my voice strong. "I married Ethan because I loved him," I began, "but his choices put us all in danger. He hid his gambling addiction, and when I tried to protect my baby, he hurt me. I can't let my child grow up in a home filled with fear." Ethan's lawyer tried to paint me as overly emotional, claiming Ethan's actions were due to stress. But the judge listened closely, her eyes narrowing at their arguments. She asked pointed questions about Ethan's debts and behavior, making it clear she wasn't buying his excuses. During a recess, Alex leaned over to me. "You're doing great, Jessica," he whispered. "Stay strong. The judge is paying attention to the facts." From across the room, Ethan glared at me, but I held my head high. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was fighting for my baby and our future. When the judge finally delivered her verdict, she looked directly at Ethan. "Your actions are inexcusable. You are hereby sentenced to 5 years in prison for assault and financial misconduct, and you must pay a $5,000 fine to Jessica for damages." Relief washed over me as the nightmare ended and justice prevailed. The weeks that followed were filled with emotions and adjustments. With Ethan imprisoned and legally barred from contacting me, a sense of safety gradually returned to my life. My parents opened their home to me, offering unwavering support as I prepared for my baby's arrival. Olivia stayed by my side, her presence a constant source of strength. Together, we transformed one of the spare rooms in my parents' house into a beautiful nursery. We painted the walls a soothing pastel blue, decorating with cheerful animal prints. Each small step, hanging curtains, arranging baby clothes, setting up the crib, felt like reclaiming a part of myself I'd lost. Yet despite this newfound peace, there were still nights when fear crept in. Nightmares sometimes pulled me back to memories of Ethan's rage, and I would wake up gasping, clutching my belly as if to shield my unborn child from the darkness of the past. As the autumn leaves drifted gently outside, I sat on the back porch with my father, a cool breeze carrying the scent of change. For the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful. My father, a man of few words, turned to me, his voice filled with quiet pride. "You've been through hell, Jessica, but you're stronger because of it. Your mother and I are so proud of you." Tears filled my eyes, tears of gratitude. "Thank you, Dad," I whispered. "I don't think I could have made it through without you and Mom." He placed a gentle hand on mine. "We're here for you always." A few weeks later, Olivia surprised me with a small, intimate baby shower. Only my closest friends and family were there, filling the living room with laughter, love, and pastel-colored decorations. We played silly games, shared memories, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I let myself feel truly happy. That evening, after everyone had left, Olivia and I sat on the couch surrounded by gifts, baby clothes folded neatly in a pile. "You've come so far, Jess," Olivia said, her voice soft. "I'm so proud of you." Looking at the gifts and the colorful wrapping paper, I felt a wave of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you," I replied, my voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for being there, for believing in me." Olivia smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Always." As my due date approached, I spent more time in the nursery, imagining the future I'd share with my daughter. One afternoon, as sunlight streamed through the curtains, I sat in the rocking chair, my hand resting on my belly. "Little one," I whispered, "you're going to grow up in a home filled with love." You'll never have to know fear. I promise. The day finally came when I went into labor. It was a whirlwind of pain, nerves, and excitement, but I was surrounded by the people I loved most. My parents held my hands, and Olivia never left my side. Hours later, I held my daughter, Charlotte, in my arms for the first time. Her tiny eyes blinked up at me, and the world seemed to stand still. Tears streamed down my face as I whispered, "You're safe, my love." We're both safe now. The weeks after Charlotte's birth were filled with sleepless nights and tender moments. My parents helped with feedings and late-night diaper changes, and Olivia visited often, bringing meals and laughter. The love that surrounded Charlotte and me was overwhelming, a reminder that we'd both found a new beginning. One afternoon, as I rocked Charlotte in the nursery, the sunlight cast a warm glow on the walls. I thought about how far we had come. The pain of the past had left scars, but they were reminders of the strength I'd discovered within myself. I had fought for freedom, for safety, and for the chance to give my daughter a life filled with love and joy. Healing was not a straight line, but every day was a step forward. And with Charlotte in my arms, I knew our future was brighter than I'd ever imagined. Thank you for following our journey. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like to show your support. We'd love to hear from you, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.